G'day YouTube, it's Turbo Tristan here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be replacing this rusty exhaust that I paid around $800 for with this shiny exhaust that I made all by myself. I'm really proud of it, and if you don't include the cost of the welder, this cost me around $200 in materials. So pretty good deal if you ask me. Looks much better, runs much smoother, won't rust, and I got to practice welding. So stick around and I'll show you how I did it. So let's dive straight into it, shall we? Here it is here. The exhaust is all connected at the moment. The O2 bung is welded on. You can see it just down there. Loops around, nice, plenty of room and clearance, and nice smooth bends underneath the car. You can see here it is here. There's a better view of the O2 bung. And then I had to do some lobster tail. As you can see, it's not perfect, and I did actually make some holes in it, so I had to make a patch. But there it is there, straight shot down to the high flow cat, and I've got the second piece of the exhaust on there. And I just need to measure up where this flexi joint's going now. So I'm going to do that, mark it with some tape. Then I'll have to unbolt the exhaust off there with that V-band clamp. Cut the pipe somewhere here and then weld it onto this end. I want to make the exhaust a little bit longer and push that back so it gives me a bit more clearance here between the sway bar and the coupler. That was an issue I had when the exhaust shop made the exhaust, so I want to give myself a little bit more clearance. I also bring it a little bit lower so it doesn't bang on anything. I don't want it to touch the gear lever linkages or levers. I've got tons of room. You can see from this point here, the sway bar is the lowest part of the car, and this here is up much higher, so it's up there somewhere. So I've got plenty of room to bring it down a couple of millimeters, maybe up to 10 millimeters further down, further away from the sway bar, to give myself plenty of clearance, and I think that will be good compromise. You can see here, there's the bottom of the sump, and the exhaust tucks up nicely. I've still got a finger space all the way through here. I've got a finger space there, and I'm going to heat wrap the whole thing, so should be good. Let's get to measuring, chopping, and then we'll fire up the welder. So yeah, you did hear that right. I paid around $800 to get this custom downpipe made out of mild steel at a fabrication shop. I was really happy with it at the time, but it didn't quite fit. It was a really awkward shape. There was extra bends that didn't need to be there, and it rattled on my exhaust, so it had to go, or it had to be modified. During COVID, I bought myself a TIG welder, and I was really keen to get in and learn how to do that, teach myself a new skill, adapt it to my car and modifications in my channel. And I practiced a little bit of alloy welding, but as many of you probably guess, it's really hard. Haven't given up, but I decided to try stainless welding, which is much easier to do. It's still very hard to make it look good, but it's much easier to do and make work. Like, it's not going to break, hopefully, fingers crossed. Time for this one to go. Mild steel, rusty pipe in the bin, and over to my stainless steel mandrel bent. Even has some lobster tail welds in there. Okay, not a professional welder. I taught myself. I watched some YouTube videos, and I'm proud of it. No, it's not perfect, but at the end of the day, it's going to do the job, and really, it doesn't matter what it looks like, because I'm going to heat wrap it, which was half of the reason why my engine bay was getting so hot in the first place. Extra heat that didn't need to be there. So we're going to wrap it up anyway, but before I do, I just want to share with you my very first attempts and success, although ugly, at stainless steel TIG welding. I could have used a MIG, but I didn't have one. and I want to get good at stainless so I can make manifolds, etc., and really expand all of my skills. So here it is. Don't be too harsh in the comments. So I had to weld on a V-band flange. Not too bad. There was a couple of blobs down here. Now, if I was being fussy, I could grind everything down smooth and it would be smooth. I put the O2 bung on a bit further down. There's some okay welds there. Not too displeased with those. If you go right underneath, there's a couple of good ones. It's hard to hold, but there they are. I kind of stuffed up and I needed to put a lobster tail section in. So I did that, bought some pre-cut pie cuts that were already done, and I just had to weld them together. So that was fun, taught myself a new skill. I needed to give myself a little bit of extra clearance, which I did. But I got carried away and I blew a hole in it, and I've taught myself how to fill holes. So, you know, I was happy with that. I was able to fix most things immediately, but in this instance I wasn't. It didn't line up. It was a poor cut. I just used my grinder. I need to invest in a drop saw, but I made a patch, welded it on, and then tonight you've seen on the time lapse that I welded this on. This is a flexi joint, just going to help give all of my not the best welds a chance at not cracking, because this will take out some of the shock. It's my first time. I had to modify the little dump pipe flange as well, but that was because I stuffed it up. So yeah, I'm really happy with myself, kind of proud. I hope you guys aren't too harsh on me. If you do know about welding and you do have some tips, drop them in the comments. I really want to learn. Please help me out. I need all the help I can get with welding. I know it was very hot, which caused issues. Having the steel too hot can warp things and make things blob up, which it did. But I'm still trying to figure that out. And I'm not in a comfortable position. I don't have a proper workbench. I don't have a stool. And they say being comfortable and having a nice relaxed arm where you can, you know, flow and all that stuff helps a lot too. I didn't have that. I was either kneeling on the concrete or standing up hunched over. But I will invest in stuff to help me get better, but mostly it's just practice. So it's time to wrap the exhaust, stick it on the car, and then I can get ready to get it tuned. So what I'll do now is chuck it on a time lapse, and you can see me welding and you can have a laugh, and I'll also wrap everything up and then get ready to stick it on the car. Let's do it. it's all wrapped, and now I can pretend I've got the greatest welds on the planet hidden under there, because it doesn't really matter. Nicely wrapped, nice and thick heat wrap. That's going to keep lots of heat away from my new radiator and intercooler pipes, power steering, just general underbonnet heat management in general. So I'll slap this on and then I'll end off the video. Here it is, all installed. Haltech wideband O2 sensors in, plenty of clearance, hugs underneath the sump, but you can still get a finger in even with the heat wrap. There is still gap up here. It's nice and snug though, nice and tight like I like it. Heaps of room over and above the sway bar, so that shouldn't be a knocking issue anymore. And it's pretty much level there. We've got the flex joint, so really happy with how that went. Heat wrap's not going to melt the CV boot, so we are sweet to go. Well guys, that brings us to the end of another episode. Thanks for being patient. It's been about a week and a half since my last one. I've been away for my work, my day job. I was away in the outback, or the bush if you're Australian. I was in a place called Cobar doing a 4-wheel drive event, off-road, camping, in the middle of nowhere. I was 100 kilometers away from service, or about 60 miles away from any service, reception, Wi-Fi, or anything. I did film some content. If you would like to see some of the most extreme off-roading ever, and I'm talking about cars driving up winch walls which had solid rock, 90 degrees, and about 10 or 12 foot tall, just driving cars up them and using winches that can pull a house away. If you want to see that, I'll just throw a short video together, but chuck a comment below if you want to see it. I filmed heaps of content. The reason why I went along with it, there were these buggies that were supposed to have Honda engines, but that was actually at a different event. All of the cars here had LS1 powered, or LS2 or LS3 or LSA powered Nissan Patrols. It was really, really cool. So if you want to see that, comment below. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. There's plenty more Honda content coming, but sorry I was away. I was away in the outback, or the bush if you're Australian, and I was around about 100 kilometers or 60 miles away from the nearest Wi-Fi signal or cell phone, mobile phone tower. I was uncontactable, and we went camping. There was a big 4-wheel drive race event, lots of V8 powered Nissan Patrols doing some of the most extreme off-roading you've ever seen in your life. I did film heaps of content for my work and for my job, so if anyone wants to see it, just a short snippet of some of the crazy stuff, comment below if you want to see that. If you have any tips or tricks for welding, comment below those as well. This was my very first stainless steel welding of anything, and there we have it now. The engine bay is heat shielded, heat wrapped, new radiator, turbo beanie. We're ready to rock and roll. I've started filming and making a headlight duct, so there's another video coming soon. But thanks for watching, thanks for being patient. If you're new to the channel, one of our new subscribers, plenty of Honda content coming, plenty of turbo content coming. So anything you want to know, just ask me. I respond to every single comment and message, so please reach out. Happy to talk to everyone. I do have a Patreon, links in the description, and some very, very big, hopefully going to go viral videos coming out soon. Lots and lots planned, so stay tuned. We've got a 500 horsepower single jingle build. We've got an 800 horsepower twin cam build. There is a couple of restoration projects coming, some very rare cars. One extremely rare car, which probably not a lot of people have ever seen before. It's Honda. And another one, which you've probably seen one before, but this is a very, very rare, and it's actually the first one ever brought into Australia. It's in need of a restoration too, so we've got heaps of stuff coming. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to spool up, bring the boost, and we'll see you in the next video.